Good morning, all you beautiful people. You too, Craig.
And even you, this guy
I
over
do.
here.
We're somewhere on the porch in California. We
Hmm.
don't want to tell you. My last name's Espinosa. Take it from there. And
Hmm.
since he promotes me, whoa, you get the idea. We want to remain, pardon me, what's the word? Uh, incognito. Incognito. Nah, hell no. I'm in Fair Oaks, California. And I hope Donald Trump hears me right now. But aside from that, some weird stuff going on,
Yeah.
huh? Huh, Craig? What do you
Oh,
think?
brother.
Too
Yeah,
weird, huh?
man. Yeah. Right. Basically, my backyard, LA,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
backyard, David.
So yesterday, while Craig was shooting the film Henry, doing his part on there, they're rioting down in. Oh wait, let me change that. They weren't rioting; they were protesting. It was a peaceful demonstration and a protest which they had a right to do. That's right. Under the Constitution, they had a right to express their concern and their anger, their frustration. Now, how it turned into what it turned into, we can thank uh, the Orange Dumbo, Donald Trump. As usual, he shoots from the hip with his ignorance, and that's exactly what he did. And why I say that isn't because I want to call him names. Sometimes people get really offended when you say they're ignorant, and what I mean by that is that they don't know. They don't know, and they're innocent to a degree to that up until they know, and they're no longer innocent. Now they're charged with the responsibility of the knowledge. Now, Donald Trump is an ignorant fool because I think I could say this generally. I'm sure he's never read the Constitution. And if he's had it read to him, I'm sure he didn't understand it or care to understand it. That's why I say this. And under the Constitution, uh, what Donald Trump is doing is unconstitutional. Oh, that's right. I believe it's an 1878 law, posse comitatus, under the military, which bans the military from acting uh, outside of war on any state matter, any city matter, any county matter, period, as law enforcement, period. And the only ones who can call out the National Guard is the governor of that state, period. Now, it happened in 1965, and people keep drawing attention to that. That was, of course, during the Civil Rights riot. And President Johnson called the National Guard and federalized them in the good old state of what was it, Alabama?
Yeah.
Bama.
George Wallace. George Wallace was
George
governor
Wallace,
then.
who took his own National Guard, was trying to, his own people, and stood up in front of the school and declared he ain't letting no black people, no niggers coming into this school. That's right. So the governor was was violating a federal law
Hmm.
at that time, if you remember, if you're as old as me, at that time, it had become the law. Everybody had the right to attend any school. It was called desegregation and integration. Bam. And because Wallace decided to not abide by federal law, which covers all the land, it's kind of think about transportation, highways, and things like that. We need rules that cover and blanket all the law just about across the land the same way, because it affects everybody. So states have the
Hmm.
right to do certain things themselves. For example, calling out their own National Guard. Now, if we're looking at the constitutional right to demonstrate and to go out and object to what's going on, that's a protection that we have. All right, peaceful demonstration, what was going on. Our own governor and our own mayor in Los Angeles decided that everything's cool. They're peacefully demonstrating, no big deal. Yeah, that's what it's about. Be upset, just do it peacefully. Then the Orange Dumbo decides he don't like it that way because Miss Gnome, that other Nazi friend of his, And that other bully, what do they call him? The border czar,
Yeah.
Hitler's
Top
left-hand
woman.
man, right-hand man. Anyway, he
Yeah.
looked like he was born in that Nazi Miller are all telling the orange Dumbo what to do. Because he don't know. Remember, he's ignorant. We went through that, right? He's ignorant. He doesn't got a clue. Let's just give that. So he's just their big stupid puppet telling everybody what to do. And what's their goals? What is their goals? Well, remember something what he said during his campaign. And this is what everybody keeps getting confused about. Craig and I were discussing this about the term criminals. How does he use that term, Craig?
Blanketed, David. Everybody, anybody who comes across the border, he views everybody as a criminal.
Because
You gave a
crossing
great
the border,
explanation. Go ahead.
yeah, crossing the
I'm sorry.
border. No. Crossing the border without proper papers, without doing it legally, is a crime. So when all his naive Republican base, even those who had a good faith belief, heard the word criminals, they're thinking all these drug dealers or whatnot. Remember what he said? Oh, these mothers, these grandmothers with the babies, they're really got drugs in those diaper bags. And so in Trump's mind, everybody was a criminal. So when he said he's going to round up criminals, that's exactly what he's doing. Because technically crossing the border like that is illegal, and thus you are a criminal for doing so. But that wasn't what people had in mind. They had drug dealers and gangsters, MS-13 and all these other, Tren de Agua, all these different groups who were organized gangsters. That's who everybody was thinking about. They weren't thinking about Jose Martinez down the street who runs a gardening service for the entire neighborhood, or the Valenzuelas who run a store.
Right.
He wasn't. They weren't thinking about those folks. They're like, those are my neighbors. I buy tortillas at his shop. He trims my trees, and that's okay. You were ignorant of the truth. You were innocent. Now that you know, you are no longer innocent. You're now charged with the responsibility of the knowledge. So remember something. This I firmly believe in my heart. I believe God's forgiveness, and I ask for God's forgiveness. But I know I can't get it unless I can forgive. Unless I can forgive those who I think wronged me. So trust this. You're not going to be berated. You're not going to be condemned because you voted for this man under false pretenses. He cheated you. He lied to you. He defrauded you. He has been convicted of this many times. So it's not new. For me to say that this man's a liar and a fraud and you can't trust him, I didn't make this up. He did this.
Yeah.
So please, if you're a Republican, if you're a moderate, if you're anybody who was on the fence or who voted for him, look at the truth. Donald Trump is a corrupt human being. He has a malfeasance heart. He's a bad person. I didn't make him. He made himself. Now, what can we do? Well, this morning I woke up and I was starting to hear stuff, and all of a sudden I felt like, oh my God, what am I doing? What's going on? What can I do? What can I do? I'm 72 years old. What can I do? Well, I'm not dead. I'm still pretty physical, but what can I do? I said, well, I can start by first admitting I stand with Governor Newsom. I don't care what you think about Governor Newsom. I don't care if you're a Republican, Independent, Democrat, and you hate him. In this instance, the state of California is being bullied by two people. Let's talk about it for just a quick minute. Trump, which we know hates California because we've never voted for that big. Miller is the one behind Numbskull's ear, yanking on it and whispering in it. Now who is Miller? Who is Miller? Who is this guy who looks like Nosferatu, looks like he came right out of the Nazi Third Reich? Who is this guy? Well, he was a teacher, I believe, in the LA school system.
Santa
Los Angeles?
Monica. Santa Monica. Yeah.
Santa Monica? He was in, so he has a connection to LA. And from what I understand about him being in the school system, they did not like him. He was a Nazi then. He's a Nazi now. He was bigoted and prejudiced. And basically, they ran him out of there. I'm sure he may come back and say, I left on my own because they didn't meet my standards. Well, nobody's going to meet those Nazi-ass standards. That's that. And his hate and his bigotry was probably prevalent in his decisions and his attitude, his demeanor, way he spoke. So, okay. So if we look at that now, we say, okay, Trump, who hates California, now he's got his little, wicked witch there behind his ear, Miller, telling him all this shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're both on a vengeance to start a fight here in California with us.
Yeah.
So rightly or wrongly about Governor Newsom, how you feel, he is our governor, and he is not taking away our rights. He is not trying to suppress our vote. Whatever fiscal problems you have with him regarding a budget, that has absolutely nothing to do with right now, because if shit don't get straight, there's not going to be any fiscal budget to be thinking about. We are the fourth largest economy in the world. The United States runs and operates on money made in California. And that's why Trump wants to control California. But no, we're too smart. There's more brain power in California than almost anywhere in the world. You think about it. There's more PhDs, more lawyers, more scientists, more engineers. So Trump, he's already, as everybody can see, he is in violation of the Constitution, violation of Supreme Court mandates and orders, violation of many other court orders. How many lawsuits does he have from every state damn near? How many convictions does he have? For lying. Fraud is lying, folks. When they talk about, oh, he's just manipulating the numbers, that is not. That is the end product of the crime. The result of the crime. The crime itself is the lie, the fraud, the cheat. Cheated on his wives, all of them. Cheated on them all. He has made disgusting references to having sex with his daughter. There's photos out there of him with little girls sitting on his lap, 13-year-olds, and he's got his hands all over their thighs, their naked thighs. His wife, who came over, I believe it was a student visa, never went to school or fell out or whatever, a work visa, which expired, a vacation visa, which expired. Her visa expired, that much I do know. And then she met Donald. A couple pole dances, a late night out there with, what's his name? I wonder if he knew Weinstein. Seems like he would. I mean, it seems like all perverts kind of will wander into the same swamp. I don't know. But that's what this guy's up to. He's up to starting trouble with California because he's mad at us. Well, as my dad used to say, when we get mad at something we thought was unjust because it didn't favor what we wanted, he said, well, yeah, go scratch your ass and get glad. So Trump, scratch your ass and get glad. I stand by Governor Newsom in the state of California, and I'm encouraging everybody today to contact the governor's office. Volunteer. Ask him what you can do. How can you help? It'll come on once you reach the office, and they'll say, if you want to speak to a live person, press number 6. Press number 6. Everybody press number 6. You may come back to leave a message. That's okay. Let's flood it. Call numerous times. Now, Craig and I are talking about kings. I can't believe what we're having. I'm like blown away. I'm like, I like to play chess. I'm not very good. My grandsons beat me all the time, but I understand the strategies, right? And this knucklehead hasn't got a clue about playing chess, but he does understand one thing: how to push buttons,
Yeah.
how to bait people. That's what chess is about too. Sacrifice moves, enticing moves. I'll put a pawn or somebody in the way of what I really want to do, so you can open up a move for me. That's why he's trying to start a fight here. The only kings I've ever knew of or ever believed in was God, straight out, and Martin Luther King. And he was a fallible man too, but wow. I have a very good friend in Hawaii named Mark King, who is a very, very good person, but he's not a Martin Luther King and he's not God. And I'm not putting Martin Luther King up there with God. No, Martin Luther King is a man, period, end of issue. But he taught us something that worked. He taught us how to understand Gandhi's method of nonviolent protest.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're out there, do not get tempted to get violent. They want that. Sit down. Say a prayer, sing a song, read a poem of peace. But sit down. If you see somebody with a violent weapon, point them out. We don't want them in these protests.
Mm-hmm.
They don't represent me. They don't represent you. What we're protesting is this horrible, violent bullyingness by the federal government on our rights. Them violently stampeding on our constitutional rights. That's what we're protesting. So, as difficult as it is, and you're talking to somebody who most of his life was so afraid of being hit that he hit somebody first, we can't do that. We got to sit down. We got to sit down. We got to sit down. We got to hold each other's hands. We got to pray. Right there at the protest, sing a song. I'm not talking about kumbaya. I'm not talking about no bullshit. I'm not pretending here. I've seen violent protests. I'm a kid of the 60s. I was born in 53. I've seen that, been there. Come on. We can do this. So, Craig, I've said enough. Other than, break down acting like a crazy man, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Well, I'm just going to say, like this, I'm with that guy. I mean, I'm just going to say, me too. I think you hit more than hit the nail on the head, brother. I do have, so people don't need to Google. I do have the phone number for Governor Newsom's office. It's 916-445-2841. Again, 916-445-2841. I too tried to call earlier today, and I was on hold quite a while, hitting prompt number 6. I was unsuccessful speaking to a live person. I didn't really want to leave a message, so I'll stay on hold, and I hope to talk to a live person. And I do echo what you're saying, David, as far as getting a hold of the governor's office to volunteer my time and all of our times, of everybody getting involved with that. Certainly, and I've said on our podcast previously, attending peaceful protest rallies, attend town halls in your areas. They're not difficult as far as finding locations, peaceful protest rallies. They're on the weekends during the week. Next Saturday is an important one for All Kings Day, standing up on the same day that Trump is having his dumbass day from Washington, D.C. with tanks and Tonka cars. And it's just laughable. Anyhow, but you want to certainly check out where you can attend rallies and a protest countering his birthday jubilee. So I'll turn back over to you, David. I think that's about all I have to say.
Other than that, I do want to talk about Mission Impossible. What an irony, huh? I love segues. On the day of my 48th anniversary to my lovely wife, Denise, which was just last week, we went because we never thought we would get that far. We hoped and prayed and made vows to do that, but there we were, 48 years, and it wasn't impossible. So we went to see Mission Impossible to celebrate. Oh, I love action movies and I like Tom Cruise. Let me just get that straight. Okay. I watch his movies. I'm always excited to watch them, and I'll watch them because he's in them. Collateral Damage, I thought was a great
Yeah,
movie. I
yeah.
loved it. He's a good actor. I like Tom Cruise again. That movie was too much and too little. Too little of making sense and too much of uh, narration, exposition, plot outline, and oh my God, got sleepy. The stunts, after a while, it became okay. This is really just a display of stunt work. And it was incredible stunt work. Don't get me wrong. Okay, like I said, I like his work, but you know, for me, nah. I hate saying things like this because it affects the industry, but save your money. Wait for it to come on streaming. Matter of fact, if you want to be entertained by a movie that I think you would enjoy, watch one of ours. We make movies and they're free. You don't have to go anywhere. And you can always just shut it off and bring it back on, or, pause it and use the bathroom, get something to eat, go feed the dog, whatever.
Speaking of that segue, I forget who this person was. He sent me a message. I was going to tell you, but I forgot to. Um, I'll think of the guy's name. But he said he watched Evil Down the Street when it came out, a number of years ago now, and he watched it again. He goes, "Greg, I want to let you and Dave know that I watched Evil Down the Street again." He goes, "I really enjoyed it, and I wish I could think of the guy's name." So yeah, so there's that, and you're right. It's available free on Tubi and other platforms. So there
There we
is
go.
that.
Yeah, Evil Down the Street, The Crumbs, Demon Fighter, Love and Quarantine. And they have actors who are professional actors. Actors who are right now, you can see them in movies, on commercials, kind of like this guy next to me, Craig. Uh, he's a professional actor. As you know, he was on set yesterday for the film Henry. We won't tell you anything of the plot, but I'm excited for him just being there. I got to tell you. So make sure we catch that when it comes out. Also, a shout out to a couple of people. Ann P. Mitchell.
Yeah.
She's a legal analyst and lawyer. She puts stuff out on Facebook. Very smart, very
Hmm.
strategically wise. Please
Hmm.
check her out. Also, Doc Baroque. This is
Yes.
a person who is a art historian, and
Hmm.
not just a historian, but she's also, I think, a social historian relative to art and politics and how that works. We hope to
Yeah.
have both of them appear as guests on our show. We
Hmm.
think they would add a lot to this show, and certainly keep me from talking. I'm sure you'd enjoy that. But I'll tell you what, if you don't watch our movies, I'm gonna always talk. No, just kidding. Um, let's see. I really don't have too much more. I know we're short timed here today, so we're probably going to wrap it up. I'd like to say thank you again for putting up with my little tirade there in the first off. But please, please do take to heart what I've said.
Yeah.
Our democracy, our country depends on it.
Yeah.
This is important for all of us. This is important for Democrats, Republicans, Anybody, independents, I don't care who you are. Right now, we are under the gun from a tyrant who wants to turn this into a dictatorship, and he
Yep.
doesn't care what party you're in. He does not care what party you're in.
Nope.
Think about how many people who came to bat for him have gone to jail, have lost their credentials, their license, their standing. Is he going to pardon every criminal? And remember what he did. He took those criminals who stormed our Capitol, and he would not call the National Guard out. He let them do it. And then he freed them. And now he wants to give them a bunch of money. But before he did that, he gave them a job. They're ICE agents. He's made the Proud Boys and these other insurrectionists, and they are, just because they're pardoned doesn't mean they weren't convicted.
Yeah.
He gave these insurrectionists the right to be racist doghounds for him, and that's what they're doing.
Yep.
It's very important, very important. Call your governor. Any state you're in, whether you're red, blue, or no color whatsoever, call your governor. Let's stop this. Trump must be defeated. He must be taken out, period, of office. End of issue. Thank you for joining us. We love you. Thanks for putting up with us.
Have a great day, everybody.
Baby, you're my everything. I love you more than these material things. Fast cars and them diamond blings. Girl, you are my everything. Baby, you're my everything. I love you more than these material things. Fast cars and them diamond blings.